The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Wave. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning. I'm Nico Haan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore and return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
Because we want to regain our natural health and our rights and our freedoms. I'm Paige Clarke.
And it's a beautiful morning here in downtown Clearwater. It's 52 degrees, and it's going to be mild today. Clear skies. It's beautiful.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact us. You can reach me at Paige at TFNN.com.
And me, Nico, at TFNN.com. And we're taking your phone calls at 877-927-6648. So, Paige, we often talk about things that are in food, the fat, the carbohydrates, the protein, and additives and things like that. But
we don't expect to find wood.
We don't expect to find wood, and this is a common ingredient in prepared foods. This is really amazing.
Yeah, I saw this article that you sent. The recent class action lawsuit, folks, that was brought against Taco Bell raises questions about the quality of food that many Americans are eating daily. And, it's the use of cellulose, which really actually is wood pulp.
Yeah.
It's an extender, and they use it in roasting of food products, from crackers to ice cream, to puddings and baked goods. And, this heavy use of this filler is actually really being exposed today.
Yeah, this is so strange. The government agency sets no limit on the amount of cellulose that can be added or used in food products meant for human consumption. The USDA, which regulates meats, has set the limit of 3.5% of the use of cellulose, since fiber in meat products cannot be recognized nutritionally. And remember, there's actually fiber in meat, but it's not recognized nutritionally. So now, if you're buying some meat that's processed, you're going to find some cellulose or some wood in it. And they give a nice. So
why are they doing that, folks? Well, because they're cheap.
Well, that's the number one reason. But here is the note of the tone of how they're doing it. Well, it's really used to give the product structure. So it doesn't fall apart on you. Mm-hmm. You need a little wood for that, I think. It reduces breakage. Okay, it's used that as what they call a food extender. It extends the food. Not really, though. Wood doesn't extend. You're not going to eat you're not going to sit back by the campfire, eat some marshmallows and say, I need to extend this marshmallow a little. Let me add a little wood to it.
Well, it says as commodity prices continue to rally and the cost of imported materials impacts earnings, we expect to see increases in use of surrogate products within food items, folks.
Surrogate products, I like that.
Yeah, cellulose is certainly in high demand, and we expect this to continue. Folks, in the nutritional supplement industry, there are many supplements that have a lot of what we call excipients or fillers in them.
Yeah.
And as you know, I always talk about Dr. Bob Marshall's products, Premier Research Labs, because he's the premier excipient-free company. Most of these excipients and fillers are designed to add bulk to the product and to, quite frankly, keep the encapsulation process running smooth. It's not to extend anything or add anything to your health benefit.
Definitely not.
And so in other countries, many of these fillers are actually outlawed. So we should assume that the same things that are going on with the nutritional products is going on with the food now. And folks, it just really goes back to let's eat real food. Not too much, but real food.
There's a special company, Retimar USA, a company that supplies organic cellulose fibers for the use of a variety of processed foods and meats meant for human and pet consumption, as well as for plastics and cleaning detergents, welding, electrodes, pet litter. So they put this in a lot of stuff. But I don't mind them putting in those things: brake pads, glue, reinforcing compounds, construction materials, roofing coatings, asphalt. Seems normal to find cellulose in those things. It doesn't seem like it's very smart from a health point.
Yeah, we
of
really
view.
have to be concerned. So, we see some of these foods in the grocery store that aren't so good for us, but coming soon to a grocery store near you are some foods that are good for you. How about the bone broths?
Yeah, but I wanted to finish this up first because there's a little thing in here. It extends the shelf life of processed foods, but cellulose water-absorbing properties can mimic fat, he says, allowing consumers to reduce their fat intake. So, they're adding this. We often say that we're taking these foods and removing something from them, and they're filling them with something. Usually, I always thought it was sugar. Or some kind of carbohydrate, maybe a useless one. Here, definitely, this is a carbohydrate. It's wood.
Well, the cellulose is going to expand and give you a feeling of fullness, too.
Right.
But that's interesting. I mean, really, again, playing with...
Yeah, this is what they benefit, they say.
Playing with Mother Nature's wisdom of how we make things.
Perhaps the most important thing to food processors is that cellulose is cheaper than the fiber and water and everything else that you could put in the food. So
again, really, it is important to read your ingredient list to see what's really going on. And here's a good example. And I loved the, of course, we'd love to see people making their own bone broth. But in the event that we're not, it certainly beats the bouillons that are usually, again, filled with processed, heavy commercial salt products. But
people who don't want to make their own bone broth, and making their own bone broth might be a hassle for some people, but I find it pretty easy. I just save the bones.
It's a nice weekend thing to do while you're getting some things done, unless you're like me.
Well, you're swamped every weekend.
Well, no. Remember that weekend that I was making bone broth, and we realized that our range was miscalibrated, and I just had to run a short errand. And I had it on low. It's, boiling the bones. But for whatever reason, the cleaning ladies had taken the knobs off. And she put them on backwards, so when I put it on low, it went to high. So I came home, and the house had smoke in it. The water was gone.
Burn down.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But coming soon to a grocer's fridge, bottled bone broth, folks.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And
picture of it here in the telestrator.
The reason I wanted to kind of follow up or segue from that last segment is that at the same time that there's a lot of additives in food, there's a lot of good stuff showing up.
No doubt about it.
A lot of good stuff. So, if you ever waited in line in the cold for a good bone broth or spent hours making your own, you're going to be in for a treat. And this company, Epic, I really like this company.
Yeah, the new products, in addition to ready-to-heat broths, Epic also has just released a new line of animal cooking oils.
Beef tallow, the duck fat, and the pork lard, which we talk about, the real healthy, getting back to the real fats that our grandmothers used.
Yeah, it's all part of this brand's company. It's called the Whole Animal Project. The concept is to take nose-to-tail approach to honoring the entire animal and reducing our waste by creating nutritious or nourishing products from different cuts. And this is what Paige and I often talk about. Our ancestors always did. They took the whole animal.
And this includes using the scraps, a clean eating approach we're seeing everywhere.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how we think about the scraps? Oh, let's feed the dog the scraps. Probably the scraps were...
Might be the best thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so, when you're saving your bones, you save the gristle, all that stuff. You can save that, throw it in the bag, throw it in the freezer, and when it comes time to make your bone broth, you throw all that stuff in there. It's good for soups. It's good for so many things, and you really need to get on the bandwagon, because if you want to be healthy, this is the way to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
And another way, of course, is pick up our Primal Edge daily supplement. It's only $89 a month, and gets you all the vitamins and minerals you need.
And make sure you subscribe to the Health Signals newsletter. We'll be right back.
877-927-6648 is our phone number. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back. I'm Paige Clarke, and Nico Haan and I are living a primal lifestyle, and we want to help you do the same. You know, we really work hard here to try and maintain a balanced approach in presenting information. I really believe we present the yin with the yang, the light with the dark, the up with the down. And, you know, here's an article from paleowomen.com. Can being overweight be healthier than normal weight? Paleo for women. You know, this brings up a really great point, Nico. One of the things that we strive for, on one hand, what we're doing is we're realizing that obesity and fat is a manifestation of inflammation. Yep. Inflammation Nation, as you know, I've been doing these lecture series. So we can feel that one of the greatest things we can do for anyone is to help them reach their ideal body weight. However, you know, popular wisdom says that fat is unhealthy, and it's a plain simple fact that the more fat you have on your body, the more likely you could be to becoming ill and perhaps dying sooner, or that's what we've been told. This is something everyone in Western cultures have been believing. Yep. But just as the fat and cholesterol recommendations from the last few decades are beginning to crumble, so does the dogma around body fatness and health are beginning to crumble too. Yeah. It's not quite so absolute, folks. As it turns out, there's absolutely no clear correlation between being overweight, which means having a body mass index between 25 and 30, and poor health. This is interesting. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's true. I think, you know, there's all different shapes and sizes to people. I mean, I can't do much about my natural physique. I mean, I can enhance it a little bit. I'm never going to be a great bodybuilder. I don't have that type of metabolism. Everybody's a little bit different. I know there's a lot of girls that think they're chunky. I think that look phenomenal. And there's certainly, in the eyes of different people, everybody's just gorgeous. You know, there's somebody that I would say, I'm not attracted to her. Somebody thinks they're just awesome.
Yeah, the variety is the spice of our life.
There's no doubt about it. So, I mean, you know, we are so critical because of this advertising, putting people up there that are this certain type, and they're actually the least of the population that's around. We have to really become comfortable in who we are and what we are and how we look. And we certainly want to enhance and we want to look the best way we can, but the nomenclature that if you're thin, you're going to be healthy is not necessarily true.
Yeah, so here's some facts. Number one, you can be thin and unhealthy.
Yes.
You know, there's conflicting evidence, but really some of the markers we use in functional health, functional medicine, so to speak, is, you know, we look at numbers like, what's your fasting insulin? You've heard Nico and I talk about this a lot. How are you handling sugar? What's your C-reactive protein and inflammation number, the SED rate,
yeah.
your triglycerides. Your triglycerides are blood fats, but they're raised by sugars and processed foods.
Right.
These are perhaps the three greatest markers
I think so.
to indicate health. And, you know, we see these numbers elevated in people who are very thin,
Yeah.
as well as people that might have a few extra pounds.
Yeah, there are plenty of people around in the world who are they look great and they look fit, and they could be dangerously unhealthy, and you know, you have to take a closer look at that. You can also be overweight and perfectly healthy at the same time.
Correct, because getting back to that skinny person, I often talk about the skinny fat person.
Okay.
You know, the skinny fat person is the thin person, but when you touch them, they just jiggle, jiggle, jiggle like Jell-O.
Yeah, so the fat is not good. They don't have good proteins. They're just an unhealthy person, I guess.
Right, they don't have a lot of lean muscle mass, and they may be of a thinner ectomorph type structure, but they aren't maintaining that lean muscle mass, and perhaps they're in a catabolic state. So, yeah, you were getting ready to say that overweight and perfectly healthy could be a potential.
Yeah, it says here, if there isn't an underlying health condition associated with fat story, it may be a simple matter of genetics, the quality of nutrition, and your body type as you were growing up as a child, or having a history of dieting, as many people do, which leads to a slower fat-burning mechanism in the long run. And we see this with all the digestive problems that you were always mentioning. If it's not good, if the terrain, what is you're saying, your terrain is...
The terrain, it's about the terrain. You know, the germ is not necessarily the issue, it's the environment.
Yes.
The milieu, the water that our body cells are floating in. That's where the exchange happens, you know, at that level.
Yeah.
And that's a really good point, Nico. I'm glad you made that.
Yeah, and you can also see it, and most often I see this in women, is where you see a woman and she's a certain body type and she looks really good, and then she is dieting to get a little bit thinner, and then she crosses that line where she starts to look not healthy anymore. And for her body type, it's just too thin. And it's more of a problem with women than men, because men normally want to bulk up. With women, they want to slim down. So I see this as a big problem in our society. Being overweight and being obese are very high in our society. And you have a lot of propensity to have a lot of different types of diseases when you are overweight.
It's about balance. You know, I just popped in, you know, when you're talking about body structure, and I think you know, being a personal trainer, you're thinking about the ectomorph, the mesomorph, you know, and these three different body types, where that really parlays well into the ancient science of Ayurveda.
Okay.
You know, and that's
the Indian culture, the ancient
Indian Vedic cultures, and the ancient medical system of Ayurvedic medicine is that there is the Vata, which is more the thin, wiry person.
Okay.
The mesomorph, you think of more as kind of the balanced, athletic type.
Okay.
And then the Kapha. And the Kapha is a person who tends to put on more weight. So, you know, you just hit it on nail on the head when you said we have to really respect kind of our, you know, our given body types and our propensities, and maximize and help ourselves to become our healthiest selves with what we are, but accepting kind of what our structure is.
Yeah, it's kind of like I always have the picture of John Belushi and the Blues Brothers, and you know, he's a heavy-set guy.
And
but
he could do all those flips.
All the flips, yeah. I mean, and the dancing and all, you know, that amazing stuff that shows you. And I have many clients that are what we would consider overweight, very flexible, very strong. When they walk through the door, they look fabulous.
Well, another point that what you and I were talking about is the older you are, the higher your cholesterol is, the longer you live. In other words, as you get older, if your cholesterol is higher, you have a higher incidence of surviving.
And you have a little more weight on you normally.
And that's the key point the article says here. As it turns out, it's not only possible to be healthy while overweight, it also appears as though overcoming some specific health conditions is greatly helped by being overweight. This could be pneumonia, burns, general immune system health, stroke, many varieties of cancer, hypertension. Again, maybe that indicates that we've got some reserves, you know?
And also it says overweight people appear to live longest of all the body types. which is very interesting, too.
Yeah, more of the overweight and obese are up to 63% less likely to develop rheumatoid arthritis, more likely to heal quickly from injuries, and 25% less likely to develop dementia. So, but then finally, number 4, we were just covering the idea that certain health conditions, people that are overweight fare better now. There is a correlation between obesity and certain diseases. Yeah, and to be sure, we'd see some of these, like the type 2 diabetes. And, we don't really need to be careful because we know if body fatness is not what causes the heart disease, diabetes in itself, or both of these conditions arise as a result of a different underlying factor, such as what? Inflammation. And that's
a huge thing, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah,
that really, those, I was listening to a lecture last night, and the gentleman was explaining, infectious disease is one thing, but chronic illness is something that happens in the body. And these are all metabolic disorders. And the only thing that's ever corrected in metabolic disorder is nutrition, not drugs. And nutrition could be turned into frequency, information. Yeah. The body needs the information.
Okay, folks, we're going to have another segment coming up. Please stick around. The number here is 877-927-6648. We'll be right back.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Nico and Paige here, and we wanted to remind you that we have a new Health Signals that just came out on Tuesday. So please check that out. It's only $10 a month. You get 2 issues a month on the first and third Friday of each month. And it's important that it kind of follows the show.
Keep you wild and wiser.
Exactly. I went to have a massage yesterday with my wonderful massage therapist, Hope. and we were working on my hip, which I've been really having problems with for, God, a month. And it was a psoas muscle and stuff, but she got in there and really worked it. And she says, I think you have bursitis. And then I go back about 20 or 30 years, remember falling off a roof and hitting on that hip. And, one of the things you were explaining to me, bursitis is one of those itises that comes from too much calcium going into that joint, I think.
Well, I think that any itis is a acute inflammation, and many times the minerals are out of balance in this area. And it can be from wear and tear, but it can also be from dietary things, and it can be from a combination of injury. But we also know that whenever there's inflammation in a joint or a point of injury, the inflammation is there to
help.
To clue your body in.
Right.
That's why a lot of people are getting prolotherapy, where they do injections into an injury to create inflammation. Inflammation is a good thing as long as the switch turns off. That is what the key is.
Right.
Trying to turn that off and getting that inflammation going. So to get the healing.
It eased my mind a little bit that it's not the muscle itself, so it means that I can, go ahead with my training. And that's important. I may be in pain because of a flare-up of the bursitis. Certainly the products like the Primal Edge and the Moringa aloe vera are helping me. It reduces the inflammation. I think it's important for people to know when you do get injured, there are consequences later on, so it becomes even more important for your diet to be right on and not to have this thing inflamed. Now, I think my hip got inflamed because of training, not because of diet, because we're working on a lot of things with the hip. So, but, it was interesting to me that, and now when I feel it, and I can feel it right now, I can feel it on the inside and the outside of the hip, and it's not relating muscle to me anymore, so that kind of eases my mind. And I'm going to go back to training and just kind of bear with it. I've only got 4 weeks left until I do it.
You're working hard. We can't wait to brag on you when you get back.
So I read across this article, and the name of the article is "Harnessing the Power of Leptin to Transform Your Body, Your Brain, and Your Life." And ready or not, the science is in. The largest dietary studies in history, such as Stanford's A to Z study and the Swedish Council on Health Technology assessment review of 16,000 dietary studies. That's really important. 16,000 dietary studies have clearly shown that the low-carb diet reigns supreme for both weight loss and health. So declares the Swedish government has declared that the low-carb, high-fat diet is the official diet of
Norway
Sweden.
followed.
And Norway followed.
So, look, these other countries are starting to take a look at what's going on, and they're making dietary recommendation changes. The USDA won't go there yet, but they did strike cholesterol off as not a concern.
And saturated fats also as a
they're making
limits.
some moves in those areas, I think really what we want to start doing is, trying to understand a little bit better about how leptin resistance is at play in weight loss. And what is leptin resistance? Well, leptin is the hormone that tells you that you're satiated, correct?
You're satisfied with what you ate.
Yes, that you received the proper nutrients. So,
that's even more important, because we discussed that the other day, is that we're talking about that our natural inclination of smell and taste leads us to the nutrition.
That is so true. One of the reasons that if you find yourself grazing or needing to eat every few hours, a lot of people tie this into blood sugar. I've not ever really been a fan of that type of eating. I don't think our ancestors had that luxury of, hey, I think I'll go have a snack. And they were kind of busy, don't you think?
I think so.
And so I think that we are better off doing more intermittent fasting, eating a meal, and in allowing our body to have some breaks in between so that the body can get over digesting food and work on digesting matter, such as calcifications at hips and shoulders and so forth. So leptin resistance is something that keeps us from, reaching our ideal weight. When you are resistant, you're not getting that signaling that you're satiated.
Right.
So
that's an important thing, and that's the next step to that is being in diabetes. Pretty much. So. And
so what are we finding? We're finding that fat really helps improve that leptin sensitivity, correct?
Right. Yeah. And it's one of the statements here, are you going to tell me that lard is healthy? Well, yeah, lard recently won out over all the other oils and fats that it's the most longevity in calorie-restricted rodents. They had this whole test with these rodents, and low-fat diet was also cancer-fighting herbs like turmeric actually work better in the presence of the fat instead of in the sugar. We discussed that a couple weeks ago.
If you listen to our show, you were aware that. Remember, all these great anti-inflammatory herbs are looking for a fat synergist.
Yeah, and very low carbohydrate diets are now being used as cancer treatments. Not so much in America. They're starting to, but we're still finding people. If you have a cancer patient, you go in the hospital and you look at what they're feeding them, and you'll find high fructose corn syrup and all kinds of things.
If you're in America, they're going to give you Ensure, which is loaded with the high fructose corn syrup. But in other countries, they're using ketogenic, fat-burning, no-carb, low-carb diets to starve the energy source of the cancer cells, because cancer is not able to create energy. It needs sugar sources. But contrast that, because remember, we like to present balanced approaches, the yin and the yang, to the great success many people have in this country, eliminating proteins and fats, and I won't say all fats, but let's say majority of animal food fats, which we, in fighting cancer, by doing processes like, for example, the Gerson therapy, which is juicing like every half hour. What are they doing? How are they having success with that? Well, they're getting what? Real food. They're getting live enzymes.
I think there's certain success, although, and one of the persons that's on this, I understand, is Bill Clinton.
Is on what?
On this, the Dr. Ornish type of cancer fighting.
Yeah, Dr. Ornish is... he's got a little bit different. I'm talking about the Gerson therapy for cancer and why it has such success. And the reason it does is that... Because of the nutrition involved in it, right? Well, you're getting that cell-ready nutrition because a cancer patient is having trouble digesting proteins. And, I've been doing that food enzyme certification. It's just fabulous. But, why don't you want to give a cancer patient a ton of protein or a steak? Because they can't break it down. They need all that, listen to this, they need all that really intense protein digestion to break down the protein coating on the cancer cells. So maybe one of the first things that should be done if you do have cancer is find out what you're digesting and what you're not. Absolutely. That gives you kind of the direction you might want to go. What is your source of stress? Because, as I mentioned to you, not digesting or assimilating or using carbohydrates is a real strong indicator of potential cardiovascular issues. Interesting, huh? Carbohydrates. Not digesting proteins, you could be someone who might see cancer issues, because if you can't break down the protein coating, which is the biofilm that cancer cells hide from the immune system, and you can't break down your proteins, there's not going to be any left to fight the systemic stuff. And finally, not breaking down fats, you might see people with endocrine disruptions. Very interesting. So find out what your body is doing. And if you want to do that, you can contact me. You've got those wonderful little urine tests that they can do? Yes, exactly. Okay. All right. We'll be right back, folks. The number here is still 877-927-6648. Pick up some Primal Edge, would you? And subscribe to our newsletter, and you'll be good to go. Good stuff. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. We often talk about training to get fit, to feel good, to relax, and we talk about mindfulness as a nice state of mind to de-stress ourselves.
That's right. I'm thinking of our sweet Allie Ford. Mindfulness training can actually help cool inflammation, Futurity magazine says, or futurity.org. I think this is really important information, Nico.
Well, it's for me right now. I'm going to go home and meditate a little bit.
I love the way you create balance in your life, and I want to tell you that over 80% of all visits to doctors' offices today, folks, are stress-related. 80%.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Literally. So if we can actually put as much energy into pumping, those stress-relieving hormones throughout our body through meditation as we do pumping our iron, we might be much healthier for it all the way around.
Yeah. Of course, the studies show that just starting with 10 minutes of meditation, maybe some breathing exercises.
That's what I call my snooze. Remember we were talking about the snooze?
Yeah. Well,
when the
cool.
snooze goes off, it's kind of like a little time to start my day in a meditative way.
Yeah. I've been doing it in the sauna, which is kind of natural. I got 45 minutes in the sauna, so I got plenty of things that I can do.
I use mine the same way.
Yeah, so I've been using at the beginning, I do this 10-minute twice regime of breathing in and holding and exhaling. And so that's 10, 20 minutes of breathing. And then
you can never get too much.
No. And then I try to calm myself, and the last 20, 30 minutes in there are just basically trying to be mindful. And sometimes I have some music on, sometimes I listen to a podcast. But it's a great break from doing everything. And afterwards, I always feel not only my body feels really good, but the stress in my brain. The head is not going, what's next here?
That is just really great. I mean, and that's what we want to encourage you all to make the time to do these things that help lower your stress levels. But this article was from this research came out of Carnegie Mellon University, and there's some other universities that contributed. But really what they said was we've now seen that mindfulness meditation training can reduce inflammatory biomarkers. And folks, we've been talking all week about how inflammation is at the root of all disease. In lowering these inflammatory biomarkers in several initial studies, this new work actually helps to shed light into what mindfulness training is doing to the brain to produce these inflammatory health benefits. And this was the professor of psychology at Carnegie Mellon University.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. For this randomized controlled trial, 35 job-seeking, stressed, adults were exposed to either an intensive 3-day mindfulness meditation retreat program or a well-matched relaxation retreat program that did not have a mindfulness component. All the participants completed a 5-minute rest stage brain scan before and after the 3-day program. They also provided blood samples right before the intervention, and they began.
And had a 4-month follow-up.
And a 4-month follow-up. So this is a pretty good study. And
it said that it says that the mindfulness meditation training increased the functional connectivity of the patient's resting default mode, which meant that what they're saying is the ones that were doing the mindfulness actually had a better result than the ones that just did relaxation. There's a little bit of a difference.
That's the difference. Yeah, that's the one thing I wanted to point out. It was, it's really important too to have this component in your life, because we always think about the exercise, we think about eating right, we watch the little TV that we watch, but this component, just 5 or 10 minutes, makes a huge difference in reducing the inflammation.
This is the most important thing for me.
And inflammation causes stress.
If I have a choice in a time slot, it's more important for me to do relaxation type exercise. And we can take a look at, again, because we're all about presenting a balanced thing, we talk about ancient wisdom with the latest science, and what have ancient cultures such as the Chinese, in the science of Qigong, in yogic practices, they're not all pumping iron in a gym. They've been using body movements and breath work and mindfulness as a real part of staying fit and healthy.
Yeah,
so
martial arts has the same component. It all comes, I believe, from the same.
Yeah, martial arts, correct.
Yeah, and in jiu-jitsu, we're really mindful of the breathing exercises. We're also mindful of our compatriots that we're rolling with, we're fighting with.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a really nice balance, but, incorporate some mindfulness and some real de-stressing type of activities that don't require any kind of equipment whatsoever. You can be anywhere. You can sit in your car in a parking lot someplace and do this. It's really easy to get into it, but you need to take the time. And these people started with just 5-minute resting rates. So this is really, really cool.
How many people don't have 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes twice a day? Our sweet Allie Ford said, you're having a perfect yoga practice if you're breathing. It is the breath, the prana. It is the pulling in of this breath that reminds the body to go into these relaxation states.
In fact, I would submit to you, if you aren't on an exercise program, this may be a really good way to start.
Start with the mindfulness. This is exercising. And, just in conclusion, the researchers, which included, this was fairly significant. It included the University of Pittsburgh, Virginia Commonwealth University, and Ohio State. They said, we think that these brain changes provide a neurobiological marker for improved executive control and stress resilience, such that mindfulness meditation training improves your brain's ability to help you manage stress. And these changes improve a broad array and range of stress-related health outcomes, such as your inflammatory health.
I like that, inflammatory health.
And I like that word, resilience. Don't you love that word?
Yeah, I do. But inflammatory health, is there a measurement for that, actually?
Well, if you're talking about a blood marker, as we said earlier in the show, the C-reactive protein and the SED rate, and some of these, the interleukin-6, the inflammatory cytokines, yes, those are measured lab. But you know what are other measures?
What's that?
You can do heart rate variability studies. And I can remember one time that I had a little bit of elevated inflammation, and she went and did a bunch of cardiac stuff to check, and everything was fine. I mean, I had very low markers, but the emotional component was elevated for me. So, again, the impact of stress creates a drip of acid and inflammation. So, folks, get your stress under control. Make that your first priority.
Yeah. See if you can sit still and watch what happens in your mind and see what comes into it.
Observe it.
Yeah, observe it. Become the observer and watch what your mind does.
Like
and you'll see it looping around, and things will come in and come out. And what you want to do through the breathing is to kind of relax and let this go. Find the paradox of how our mind works, because there's a paradox there, because our mind is always trying to protect our ego.
Are you your mind? No, you're not. Your mind, you are more than your mind. Your mind is a subset of who you really are. So you can observe. You are the spiritual being.
Well, we always
Observe the mind.
compartmentize everything, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, we
yeah,
say,
like-
okay, our body's feeling this way, my mind is feeling this way. We're really all one thing. We have the subconscious, we have the conscious, but it's really all one thing. One doesn't work without the other. So I think splitting all these things up is not the way to go. I think we harmonize by becoming a whole being. This is who I am. I watch myself. I see all these stupid little thoughts coming in. I realize how shallow that is, and that leaves. And that's kind of the way it works, at least for me.
Those are some great points.
877-927-6648. We have one more section coming up. It's just enough time for you to look at our Health Signals newsletter and decide this is something you really want.
You've got to have it.
And you've got to have the Primal Edge daily supplement. And so please pick that up. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors. Join John Logan as he teaches you trading techniques utilizing the TAS Profile Scanner. The Global Market Pulse, next on TFNN.
Welcome back to the show, folks. I found an article here called Protein Drinks Proven to be Helpful for Improving the Effects of Exercise. Specifically, research has revealed that protein drinks help individuals build stronger muscles compared to those who consume carbohydrates. And this is kind of a specific type of trial. It's natural because protein is the a component that actually builds muscle.
Well, what it is,
carbohydrates doesn't, so that makes sense. I don't know why.
I mean, the reason I think perhaps that the benefits of having some protein after a workout is that we take protein and we break it down.
Right.
and we have to have what? Good digestion, good enzymes to break down the protein into the essential amino acids that help us to rebuild our bodies.
What we just tore down.
What we just tore down, especially after strength training. But again, you know, we can talk about two sides of the coin. You know, many people are going and they're using these isolated proteins, these synthetic chemical cocktail protein drinks, and they're taking 3 scoops, you know, and they're ingesting, you know, maybe 40, 60 grams of protein. I understand there's some big guys and they need to have a lot, but I also have a lot of concern of why are we a country that has kidney disease? Well, protein is very tough on the kidneys. It's very. Why is it tough on the kidneys? Well, the reason it's tough on the kidneys is if your stomach didn't digest it, and we're going to come back to this digestive fire. If your liver wasn't able to break it down, then it gets sent over to the kidneys, and the kidneys are kind of like, hey, I have to deal with all this junk.
It's true. You know, you can't overconsume it. And so, like you said, the isolate is not as good as the concentration. They really remove everything but the protein in that isolation. And it's done by high heat. It's not a good way of...
I'm not a fan.
No, I'm not a fan.
And a lot of people are drinking these soy isolates, too.
Which is worse. So I have the grass-fed whey that I do. I put collagen in it. I also put some MCT oil for the extra little fat that I want. But carbohydrate drink after workout is not a bad thing either. It doesn't rebuild that, but you're taking
rebuilds the glycogen store, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You're taking it for different reasons. So this is why some of these things can be very confusing. You know, do you have protein? You can have either one, whichever feels...
Well, if you probably did a kind of an endurance bike ride, and you did, you know, a long-term cardio, if you believe in that. I'm not a real big fan of that. I'm more of an intermittent training like you are. You might want to have that little bit of a...
well, you can also do both. Why can't you take the protein, wait about a half hour, and then take the carbohydrates?
Correct. I think you make sense to me. Or
take one before and one after.
When you add some fruit to the protein drink, then you've got both. So maybe eating yourself, having an apple or a peach or something.
But the more important thing is going back to the digestion, finding out what you digest. I mean, if you try it yourself, you can kind of feel how your stomach feels the next hour after you take any of these supplements. And that's a good way of gauging it.
Yeah, we are what we digest, what we absorb, and what we can, you know, integrate into our bodies. So it really is important information.
You know, you've got to try some of these things yourself just to be mindful of how it affects your body. You know, don't just jump on a bandwagon because somebody says protein drinks are helpful. Carbohydrate drinks are helpful. Fat drinks are helpful. They're all helpful in certain ways. So you have to try it.
And you have to know how you are actually. Exactly. Every one of us is different. Every one of us is, facing different challenges. And our goal here is to help give you information. We're not trying to, you know, tell you what to do. We're trying to share with you what you could do. And then you have to evaluate how it works best for you.
You got to try it, folks. I mean, if you're not trying to tweak your health, bulletproof it in a kind of a way.
And please try our Primal Edge. Primal Edge is a nutrition you can use. In fact, your whole body can use it because it's cell-ready nutrition.
Something that you
powered by nature's miracle molecules, which are full of chemic acids, researched and produced for you in a nice, easy, one-shot wonder. Start your day right with some Primal Edge, and make sure you join us here next show. We'll see you. I hope you have a great, wonderful day.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Paige. Awesome.
See ya.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.